So we're gonna move to Benimaru. Now Benimaru is the name of the character. Also Jump D is the name of the character. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is one of those moves that has... I'm the guy you gave some advice to yesterday on Discord. Oh yeah, welcome in. Feel free to ask questions, but if you don't mind, wait until I've gone through this segment, because I would put it on YouTube. So I was saying, Jump D is like literally the business card of this character. Like, if Benimaru was to give you a business card of himself as a fighter, it will come under the soul of his Jump D while he's approaching you. Literally, it's like, hi, I'm Benimaru. This is what I do, right? So, of course, with something like that, this is something that you would expect a lot. So what can you do about this? You know where this this button is the strongest? There. This is the range. Not here, right? Even though it's good, even though if I jump, I'll still hit them. But here. Because it's a well, not instant, but like it's a fast jumping button overhead while you're trying to guard this, right? And so on. I don't play the character, but you get the idea. So here is the range where you have to be scared. Why? Because here, despite being great, is a reactable option. DP. Here, despite being great, is an option where you can get away. Here you can't. Because even if you backdash with a button like this, you're gonna be hit. So this is like the first thing that you think of when you fight Benimaru. You don't want Benimaru to start jumping on you at this range. Because once again, he can hit you with that. Look how good this is. Cross up, front, cross up, front. It's like they just do what they want. And on top of this, you adding this option, you're adding this option, you're adding a normal throw, you're adding, I don't know if he has it here. No. Hold on. What's this? Does he have a common grab here? Probably not. But yeah, in other games he had the actual super common grab. Let me see. Even Blast, Phantom Hurricane. No, he has the run thing here. He has this thing. Okay, so I was saying that is the very first thing that you have to be careful about Benimaru. Because Benimaru is a character that has a lot of control in neutral. Like, if you want good normals, you can play this character. But as a defender, there is the extension of his normals, like the range that he has, which is great for him, is also your weapon. Because the more far he is, the more he has to reach in his range, the more reactable his stuff is. So the more anti-airable it is. This doesn't mean that it's easy to anti-air, but it's easier to anti-air here than here, if that makes sense. Another thing that you have to be, mindful about Benimaru is his Raijinkens. Raijinkens are a great way to zone your opponents out because they are so active. They don't have a lot of recovery. They are whiff punishable, but they're not the easiest option to whiff punishing. And he can also do it in the air. So if you're trying to, say, anti-air him, but you don't have invincibility, or even if you do have invincibility, you're going to trade with this button, right? Or you might lose to this button, depending on your option, right? So if you're playing neutral against Benimaru at this range, and you're expecting this, and you go into the air with an anti-air, or with an air-to-air, because once again, you don't have always to anti-air. You can also air-to-air, you can jump CD, and so on. And he does that, you're going to lose, because you won't have time for your normal to come out. You won't have time for your anti-air without invincibility to come out. So that is kind of the mix-up. And it is not too risky, because even if you don't press a button, right, if you're going in the air and you just come down, this is still like, at most heights, it's still safe. Sometimes it's even plus, right? Benimaru is usually a point battery. Yeah, it's not an anchor character, but it's because it does so well without mirror, right? So Another thing that you want to be aware of with Benny is that this is a hit confirm. So, but people that are learning the character that might be new will be having some problems in it confirming this. So that means that if you play at this range and you're kind of poking him and they're trying to punish your poking, you might want to stop and block and see if they're able to, stop here if you block or reconfirm if you don't, right? So it clearly builds a lot of mirror. Yeah, I think his mirror build is good. He's a character that doesn't really have the greatest range aside this standing D, right? This is alright, but this is like probably his best standing button. I mean, standing B too, but not really much comes from there. Yeah, that's also like apparently, I think. We'll talk about that later. I don't think this has any low invincibility, so to speak. What else? Oh yeah, that. So, no, not really. So, I'm trying to think. This is safe, if I remember right. So the light version is safe. And the heavy version at ranges might be safe, but I'm not 100% sure. But one thing that you want to learn about this specific move, especially the C version, is 6 hits, right? Especially like depending if your character is big or not. If you guard cancel the first one, right, when you're blocking this and you go behind them, you can punish them. So if they have missed their combos and you block this and you have bar, guard cancel and go behind them, and then you can have a full punish or whatever. I don't know like ace punish it, but you know, max mode and shit, whatever. So that's another thing, because this is something that they do a lot, because it grants them a knockdown, and then they can play, especially if you're like mid screen and so on, you don't have a lot of pushback, they can play the cross up game and so on. This is an option for them to wake up, and it's quite hard to punish, almost impossible to punish if spaced right, or if your opponent if your character doesn't have the best, fastest, horizontally moving options. But rolling forward is an option, especially because, as far as I've seen, it doesn't have the grab super. So the risk for you isn't as huge as it would have been in another game. When you go and bait his DP, he wakes up with common grab super like this one, and you lose like 30, 40, 50%, depending on the level of the super. I'm trying to think of other things that I like to think about Benimaru. Oh yes, he can alter his momentum in the air by doing down and D. Now this move is also like quite hard to punish, especially if they space it right, because it has a lot of pushback on block, right? And you will not have an easy time to anti-air it without invincibility, because of the placement of hitbox and hurtbox and so on. But a thing that it doesn't have is any threatening factor up there, right? I don't know if you can see. Can you see my mouse, guys? No, right? Okay, you think playing on a stick makes all the movement option a bit easier to execute? No. South Americans play on a keyboard, sometimes a broken one, and they can do everything. It's just how much you are comfortable with whatever you play on. There's a guy that is literally missing 2 arms, right? Because he has lost 2 arms. And yes, he plays on a stick, but he can do stuff on the keyboard too. It's like how much love and effort you put into the game. So, I was saying, this is what you're expecting, right? This is the jumping D that we're talking about. Now, if they do this, because maybe you want to anti-air, right? And they do this, and these anti-air whiffs, and then they punish you, they're playing a mix-up. But when they do this to come down on you, right, to alter their momentum and use their hitbox, this part, this area is uncovered. this, I'm gonna code it in red, is the actual threatening part, right? This is where the hitbox extends. All of this area, so to speak, with the movement of the hitbox, is where you're threatened. So here, you will need, like in this area, you will need invincibility. But here, sorry, need to code blue. Here, you don't. Here, you don't. So you're, for example, say you're playing Benimaru, but say you're playing with any character with a good horizontal normal, you can neutral jump and actually get them out of the air without needing invincibility, right? Because some characters only have invincibility with bars. Some of them don't even have invincibility with bars. So yeah, have you tried the hitbox mod for 2K2 UM? No, because it doesn't work with the beta as far as I heard. And also, generally, I am too busy doing other stuff to actually put it on. But I will do it at some point. Thank you. Welcome in. So yeah, I was saying, that's your way to deal with this button. Or you super jump on top of it. So if I am coming down here, right, well, it's in the corner now, so you wouldn't be able to super jump. But if I'm coming down there, you can come down, you can come up this point and actually punish me on the way up with a button that kind of goes down, right? Does that make sense? So yeah, that's another thing to look for as Benimaru. Remember we were talking about Kyo and his super, to anti-air jumps and super jumps? Well, Benimaru has even a better one that sometimes works with ops as well, depending how ready he is. Oh, not this one. What do I get this one with one punch? Oh, it's the what's it called? The override. One sec, I'll try again. Yeah, this one. So what happens is, if you try and jump from here and press a button, the button suspends you in the air. They can anti-air you with this. They can anti-air you with this. So they will be playing at this range if they're expecting the jump. They will not be playing at this range. This is their offensive range. This is their defensive range, right? Most of the time. I just messed this up. So yeah, be careful when jumping over Benny. Try and only jump over Benny either without bar and low jumps. Because even without bar, he has this, right? That is a good anti-air. And this is alright to anti-air people. But generally against Benimaru, you can expect a lot of jumping these. Sometimes this. This kind of is a block string at range because it's kind of safe-ish. So you can guard cancel roll and punish them. Especially if you come out of the guard cancel roll with invincibility. You can expect them to anti-air you by... If they're walking back, if they're exiting this range, which is their range to, you know, annoy you with jump D, stand D, the lows, this as a kind of get off me tool or don't come at me tool, their grab, right? These are all... This is the range that Benimaru wants to keep when he's on his offense, right? The moment they are walking... Well, actually, no, should code red. So let me code red. So, because this is offense. Defense will be blue. For whatever reason, I like it better like that. So, this is the offensive range, right? Benimaru against Benimaru. Or Benimaru against other character. It doesn't matter. The moment Benimaru leaves this range and walks kind of here... This is where is defense. This is a big message that people need to read, because the moment they're there, even here, if I do this here, it's a tool for stopping somebody to walk from them, to walk towards them, right? But if I do it here, it's a reactive tool. It will only come out on a jump. And jump CD. No, jump CD, no, because look, his jump CD is basically an alternative for this. It's a pressure tool, not an anti-air or air-to-air tool. It doesn't have the horizontal hitbox, right? Jumping D would be the air-to-air tool in this case. So the little shift, like look how small the shift is between this, right, and there. That's the shift between offensive phase and defensive phase. Like, they will not try and attack from here. They don't have anything unless they do this on reaction to something, right? But even this, despite being offensive in nature, is a reactive tool, not an active tool. They will not just be like, oh, they're walking forward and back, and they will do the super. They will not. They will be only reacting with stuff. So such a small difference in fighting games of range can give a clear message. And this is also the way they will fake giving the information. Because if I am a Benimaru and I am really frustrated because I cannot open this opponent's up, you know what I will do? Oh, I'm switching to the defensive phase. Now you know, right? So you come out of that and you're like, you know what? I can just come to them as long as I don't jump, right? And I'll be able to get out of the corner. And then they go into whatever this character does at that situation. Nope. And into that, for example, right? I don't even know if I can super cancel it. Let's try it. Say you're running towards them. Far D into this. I'm trying to do. Why? Oh, yeah, because I'm running and I'm canceling before the 2 frames. Okay. Yeah. There, right? I don't know if it combos. Yeah, it does. The B version does, right? You are trying to get out of the corner by running because you like, as long as I don't jump, I don't get anti-air by this, or I don't get anti-air by this, or I don't get anti-air by this. Anticipation. Why can't I do this? Oh, it's this one. No. Yeah, okay. But yeah, far D into this as anticipation, and you just got punished. So, not always the messages will be as clear as this. I'm looking to attack you, I'm looking to react to your stuff. Sometimes this is bait. Sometimes, you know what I do in other games? For example, Street Fighter 4, Dudley. Sometimes with Dudley, I give up this 50-50 because the risk that I have of being, say, they wake up with DP and they combo me with Ultra is actually way larger than coming here for a character that has fireballs and they're like, oh, it's full screen. They're not gonna be punishing me now. They throw a fireball here, they feel safe, and I Ultra from here because the Dudley will clear this range in like an instant with Ultra 1. So like this is the mentality that people at high level use, right? And this is a skill that you can train. I wrote an article today about it. If you go on my Twitter, it's still there, and it explains a lot of things.